Hey there, comic book enthusiasts and cosmic horror aficionados. Let's be real, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness absolutely tanked at the box office. Even the fans weren't fond of it. If you enjoyed the monstrous Gargantos in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, you might not realize you were witnessing the MCU's take on Shuma Gorath, and who we're here to talk about today. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin. The origins of a cosmic overlord. Shuma Gorath was one of the great old ones, or the many-angled ones. In 1973, Shuma Gorath made his first appearance as an opponent of Doctor Strange in Marvel Premiere Issue 10, Robert E. Howard's short story The Curse of the Golden Skull, in which Rotath, a dying magician, invokes the iron-bound books of Shuma Gorath in order to curse humanity, is the source of the character's name. According to Marvel Comics, Shuma Gorath ruled the world during the prehistoric era of Earth and demanded human sacrifice until a time-traveling sorcerer forced him to exile. When the entity finally reappears during the Hyborian Age, the god Crom uses his power to imprison it inside a mountain. Until it returns to its home dimension, Shuma Gorath keeps causing trouble on Earth. Doctor Strange is compelled to kill Shuma Gorath in order to stop him from trying to return to Earth through the Ancient One's mind. When Strange fights Shuma Gorath in its home dimension years later, he gradually changes into a different Shuma Gorath, even though he prevails. In order to stop this metamorphosis, Strange had to end his own life. Fortunately, an ally later brought him back to life. In the end, it is discovered that Shuma Gorath is one of the 4 immortal extra-dimensional multi-angled ones, leading a metaphysical invasion from death itself. The conceptual form of death traps the entity and its allies in the Cancerverse and renders them inert. After surviving, Shuma Gorath makes another attempt to invade Earth, but the Avengers use the Spear of Destiny to repel him. According to literature, Shuma Gorath arrived on Earthrealm with the other old ones a million years ago. They ruled the Earth and ate the ape men. By the way, Shuma Gorath created a servant for himself called Qugoth. Now, Qugoth rebelled hundreds of millions of years ago because he thought he was stronger than his creator. In the modern age, Shuma Gorath imprisoned Qugoth on the island that served as Magneto's base for a while after defeating him but failing to destroy him. Shuma Gorath's appearance, a shape-shifting nightmare. With a monstrous and otherworldly form that is both terrifying and captivating, Shuma Gorath is a huge creature that dwarfs all mortal beings. His physical form is a hideous synthesis of a number of eldritch and grotesque characteristics that defy classification or interpretation. The slimy, writhing tentacles that cover Shuma Gorath's body seem to pulsate with a sinister, evil energy. His many eyes, dispersed through its hideous face, are unusually large and appear to radiate an unearthly light that pierces the darkness with a disturbing ferocity. But what about his actual size? Well, he is genuinely enormous in his home dimension, suggesting that his size and power are connected. He has always seemed much smaller on Earth, but it is known that when Shuma Gorath is called upon, only a small portion of his essence appears on Earth. As a result, he has only ever been seen in his home dimension at full strength. But don't hang up on his appearance yet, because it's recorded that during the Hyborian Age, he had his physical appearance as a scaly creature with a giant eye at the center. But in some accounts, he has been portrayed as either purple or green. The Vision claims that because Shuma Gorath exists on multiple planes, humans are unable to perceive his true form. He is presumably able to change how he is perceived by others at his discretion. Let's just say he cannot be killed in his home dimension no matter what happens. In his own worlds, his form is only a shell that holds his power, and that he is nothing more than that power. But hear me out. He has been killed before, but of course, it didn't put a full stop to him. Actually, he always comes back, and his presence only calls for a millennium-long struggle to control his destructive urges. Unmatched powers of the Great Old One. He has the ability to produce and guide strong mystical energy blasts and influence planetary scale transmutations. Because of his armored and rubbery skin, only the strongest magics can harm him. His tentacles are his primary means of interaction, and each tentacle is incredibly flexible and strong, capable of extending to great lengths and exerting immense pressure. And they are often used as conduits for his magical powers, channeling energy to cast spells and unleash devastating attacks. One of his most feared abilities is his aura pressure, which can destroy entire galaxies. Other than that, he creates his own mystical power, and people looking for dark power frequently call upon his name in various dimensions. He is also able to absorb other people's energy. whether it be mystical or not. I guess he's like a messiah to some evil people in this universe. Long story short, he's popular. And let's not ignore the fact that he has interdimensional telepathic abilities. This power allows him to invade other realities, spreading his influence and terror across the multiverse. He has the ability to control the minds of other beings, bending them to his will. This mind control is not limited by distance or dimension, allowing him to manipulate events across the multiverse. His eye is often used to establish this control, projecting his will into the minds of his victims. Seriously, is there anything Shuma Gorath can't do? I'm placing him as powerful and high as Cthulhu at this point. What a strong elder god, right? So is he immortal if he's so powerful? Yes, Shuma Gorath is immortal, and there are two very important factors for that: invulnerability and regeneration. His skin is not simply tough, but rubbery and armored. Now that makes him remarkably resistant to physical harm. Ordinary weapons, even powerful conventional weaponry, would likely bounce off his resilient hide. It's as if his body itself is infused with a mystical barrier. Only the most powerful magics wielded by Doctor Strange or those with a similar level of power can truly penetrate his defenses and inflict damage. And we can't forget that he possesses the ability to regenerate, or perhaps even reform entirely after fatal encounters. He has been destroyed, banished, and even killed, only to reappear later, sometimes even in a different form. Conan the Barbarian and the Hyborian Age connection. How did Conan get in the middle of this? Let me tell you a funny thing. The late Robert E. Howard created Shuma Gorath as a component of the larger Cthulhu mythology. Heroic Signatures currently owns the rights to Shuma Gorath, Conan the Barbarian, and Kull of Atlantis. They licensed out a few of these characters to Marvel for use in their comics. This is why Shuma is still a staple of Marvel mythology and how Conan was able to join the Savage Avengers. Now, before we go further, I'll first tell you something about the Hyborian Age. The Hyborian Age is a fictional period in Earth's history created by Robert E. Howard, primarily serving as the setting for his Conan the Barbarian stories. This era is set after the fall of Atlantis and before the rise of known ancient civilizations. Howard designed the Hyborian Age to avoid the constraints of historical accuracy, allowing him to blend elements from various mythologies and historical periods. The name Hyborian is derived from the Greek concept of Hyboria, a mythical land far to the north. Are you a fan of Conan the Barbarian or other works by Robert E. Howard? Tell us in the comments. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is that Shuma Gorath was present in the Hyborian Age. I'll try to describe his involvement in short. During the Hyborian Age, the witch Vamitar and sorcerer Kulan Gath formed a treacherous alliance seeking to unleash the power of Shuma Gorath. Their battle for control resulted in both being seemingly destroyed, and the iron-bound books of Shuma Gorath being buried beneath Mount Crom. Centuries later, Conan of Cimmeria confronted Vamitar because he was driven by a vision of the village's destruction. Shuma Gorath was freed from his prison, and he possessed Conan's companion, Hob, forcing him to read from the books. Despite Vamitar and Kulan Gath's temporary control, the demon ultimately consumed them. Armed with the books, Conan resisted Shuma Gorath's power, ultimately returning them to the mountaintop, sealing the demon back into his prison with the help of Crom's power. I can totally picture Arnold Schwarzenegger doing all that. You guys are aware that he played Conan in a movie, right? Is there more than one Shuma Gorath? As a great old one, Shuma Gorath's beginnings predate both Earth and the universe. Despite the fact that these demonic creatures coexist, no literature specifically claims that they belong to the same species. Because of this, some can have features like rows of teeth and look like Shuma Gorath, while others are far more grotesque. H.P. Lovecraft was also inspired by these creatures in the 616 universe. Shuma Gorath is the most frequently mentioned of these beings, though there are many others. He even has writings mentioned in the Black Sea Scrolls. He is one of the Great Old One's leaders because of his advanced age, but it's not clear if Shuma Gorath is the primary leader or if he shares authority with the other strong Old Ones. Shuma Gorath's legacy in Marvel and beyond. Shuma Gorath has the capacity to wipe out entire galaxies and even entire realities when he is at his strongest. In contrast, the celestial Galactus can only eat entire planets. Shuma Gorath's aura pressure ability allows him to wipe out galaxies. Strange Tales number 14, where the creature uses his ability to manipulate Earth to slowly destroy it, gives a small glimpse of this power. The Marvel Superheroes arcade game demonstrates that he could use the Infinity Stones to destroy multiple worlds at once and even manipulate the universe to his will, making his ability to destroy realities even more devastating. Nevertheless, the destructive power of Shuma Gorath could still reach other realities even in the absence of the stones. Marvelous verdict. We've dissected his vast power, his ability to manipulate reality, and even his unnerving tendency to shift forms at will. We've glimpsed his power, but what drives it? What lies at the heart of this being that makes him crave chaos and destruction? Is there a reason behind the madness? A purpose to his cosmic terror? And most importantly, would you like to explore more about Shuma Gorath's history or his battles with other Marvel characters? Let us know in the comments. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.